Data preparation is a significant part of any BI workflow. Zoho Analytics now includes self-service data preparation capabilities that will allow a line of business user or even those who do not have significant or any SQL chops to prepare data and take it for analysis. Let's take a look and get a feel for the self-service data preparation capability in the platform. I'm now inside the Zoho DataPrep UI, and Find Pick is a project workspace where I have organized all the data that I want to prepare. Once I go in, it tells me the tables or the data points that I want to prepare. So I have two tables here in this case. One is the items that I have in my store that I sell, and the item reviews is a table that has all the information regarding the reviews that my products have garnered. So I know as a business user that there is some data out here that I want to prepare. So I will start off with the items table. When I go in there, you will see on the right-hand side, there is a data quality report that indicates how good the data is. 96% of my data is valid, about 2.53 invalid data, and there is about 6.61% of data that is missing. So how can a line of business user prepare this data? So out here, you see the price column. There are visual cues that tells me which column or which data point has issues. So clearly the price column has some issues because you see the value of the product or the product prices have the dollar notation, and in some cases it has the USD string prepended to it. So this is what I want to cleanse in this case. So upon selection, you will see a new column on right-hand side that tells me the actual values that I have selected. And I'm also going to select other text variations that are offending. And now to replace the value, all that I need to do is select the replace value matching. So depending on the type of data that I'm preparing, the system is automatically making a suggestion of the type of cleansing that I can do on the data. So I'm going to say edit this replace value column, replace the value with $sign. And even as I'm doing this, you observe that the column is being cleansed and you get a preview of what's going on with the data point. So with that being done, I am now going to apply this change. And just with 2 clicks, I have literally cleansed this data and it's ready for analysis. So these are the kind of ways using point and click functions, we can prepare data. This is just a simple example. I also want to take you to the item reviews table. So out here, I am looking at the reviews that my products have garnered, and the data quality itself has no issue per se. However, it doesn't lend itself to analysis. So what do I mean by that? If you look at the review column, it has values. These are blobs of text about people talking about the product, letting me know whether the product is good or not. It really doesn't help me to analyze the data in any effective way. For example, if I want to identify the top 5 products that have the worst review, this is not something that I can do easily. So this is where an enrichment capability can really help a business user. So I can select the review option here, the review column, and select the sentiment analysis operation. And this is going to create a new column. I'm going to call this item sentiment. And when I apply this function or operation on this data point, the system automatically creates a sentiment column indicating what is the sentiment associated with the particular product. Now, if I take this for analysis, obviously, I'm in a position to kind of quickly find out the top products that have the best reviews or the top products that have the worst reviews. So really, it's about using this layer to prepare data that can also help you in better analyzing the data points. So this is some of key functions, some capabilities around augmented data preparation that I wanted to talk about. There are a lot more host of other capabilities, tons of transformation, tons of enrichment that can happen on the data point. Zoho Analytics supports various ways using which users can consume the reports and dashboards that are created. For example, you can have users to log in into the platform to access the reports. You can share those reports via scheduled emails or send them over instant messaging channels and even embed them as a permalink. However, what we have found in our experience is a lot of times these reports and charts and dashboards are exported into images and embedded into presentation. So what we thought was, what if we can actually embed these reports and charts in a live fashion into a presentation? So what we did was to integrate Zoho Show as a part of the analytics capability, where a data analyst or a line of business user can create a presentation with live charts and reports and share it with the exec team or with the department users. So just imagine walking into a presentation or a meeting where you have a presentation that has live interactive data, and you can play around with the data even as you are trying to take some important decisions. So let's take a look at that experience. What is a data story look like? So what you see here on the screen is a presentation that's been created from Zoho Analytics. And as a user, I can actually navigate in the presentation and take any actions based on the data that I see. For example, here I'm looking at the sales trend. Obviously, this is a chart that's been embedded in live mode. And while I have the narration on one side that tells me about the month-over-month growth, the contribution of OEM products to sales, and so on, here I have a data point. It's a chart that shows me the forecast. And if I want to kind of change it to a different filter and apply the last 24 months, the report or chart is live. And if I want to change this representation from a line chart, curved line chart, to a horizontal bar chart, I will be able to do that. So the idea is embed a live chart, and the meeting comes alive because now you have access to data that you're operating on within a presentation, and you are able to make those decisions that you always wanted to get to based on data. So this is one way of making this data available to different lines of business user, or even think about this from an executive team standpoint. The presentation software is a canvas that everybody in every level of an organization understands. So if you put this into your leadership's hand, their ability to take decisions being driven by data is critical. So you can do that now with the data stories capabilities. So this is one way of doing it. The other thing that we've also seen is a lot of businesses tend to create what we call enterprise portals, where they want to assemble the reports and dashboard in specific ways using specific navigation, hierarchy, and so on. So here you're looking at the dashboard that has been created using Zoho Sites. So what am I talking about here? We have actually integrated Zoho Sites, the website building tool, into Zoho Analytics. And again, as a business user or as a data analyst, you can organize the reports and dashboards that you want to share with the organization and create your own website where all these reports and dashboards are organized. So this, again, makes it easier because the people who need to access data don't have to understand Zoho Analytics. They just go into a website. It's almost like going into a website and accessing the reports and dashboards and going from there. These and a whole lot of other capabilities have been added. For example, you can add a video into this. You can basically create your own website with your own elements, video elements or other embedded links and so on, to make that website alive with specific narrations that you want to have. So this is some of the things that we have been thinking about from a data storage perspective, and this is being launched as a part of the new announcement. Thank you. We've added more capabilities to the augmented analytics layer as far as BI goes. The three significant updates that I want to specifically spend time on. The first one is Ask Zia conversational capability. The second one is Zia Insights, also called the narration capability. And the third one that I want to focus on is Wattage Analysis. So let's start off with the first one, natural language conversation and how it can be used by a line of business user. So a line of business user or a data analyst can quickly create reports and charts using natural language. Let's take a look at what it feels like. I want to say, show me sales by items. And the system knows which data module to query. In this case, it's querying the ERP module and showing me the list of items that have been sold. Now, if I want to kind of apply or get the top 10 products that are sold by items, then I can basically say, get me the top 10. Top 10. And the system knows that I am asking this question in relation to the previous question. So meaning what's happening is there is an incremental response that's coming up here. So this is the conversational capability that we have added. In addition to this, we also have the search-driven interface, which was launched as early as in 2018. And we now support Spanish and English when it comes to the conversational or the search-driven interface capability. So the second one I want to talk about, second augmented analytics capability that I want to talk about is Zia Insights, which is about narration. So here is a very interesting chart that tells me the sales that I have across different regions in North America, in specifically in this case, United States. So while this report or this chart is interesting because it gives me a lot of information, there is some amount of categorization that I can apply and so on, it really still doesn't bubble up insights. For example, what are the top 3 states or top 5 states that are generating revenue? And to kind of get to that level of insight, I still need to put a paper and pen together or do some visual exploration of data. So what if the system can automatically bubble up this inference to me? So that's where Zia Insights comes into play. If I click on Zia Insights on this particular chart, the system is automatically going to come back with a response that identifies a lot of important things. For example, the total sales between 2020 and 2021 was 80.84 million. The top 4 states, it even includes the states themselves, California, Texas, Florida, and New York, are generating over 26% of the revenue, and the top 16 states are contributing to 50% of the sales. So clearly, the idea is bubble up inferences as quickly as you can to the line of business user, and the quicker you bubble up inferences, the quicker you can get to actions based on whatever you want to do. So the third capability I want to talk about is the Wattage Analysis. So we now have the ability where a user, a line of business user, can do scenario analysis. For example, you're looking at the sales forecast here that tells you what the forecast will look like. If you are selling your product at 50% profitability, what if I change it to, let's say, 80% or 85% profitability? What happens to my scenario? What happens to my forecast? So the system is now able to associate the Wattage analysis behind the scene and comes back with a response telling you what your actual sales number will be given you change your profitability from 60% or 50% to 85%.